As you move forward and backward through the footage, the segmentation boundary moves with the foreground object, in this case the boy. You'll step through the frames in the span and make adjustments to the segmentation boundary as necessary. In the Effects Control panel, make sure quality is set to standard. When standard is selected, frames are processed at a lower resolution, and the segmentation boundary propagates more quickly, but the matte may include fewer edge details. When quality is set to best, the matte will have more detailed edges, but the process will be slower. For most projects, standard is sufficient. Press the 2 key on your main keyboard, not the numeric keypad, to move forward one frame. Working from the base frame, After Effects tracks the edge of your object and attempts to follow its movement. Depending on how complex your foreground and background elements are, the boundary may or may not conform exactly to the area you hoped it would. As you progress through this clip, you may notice changes to the segmentation boundary along the boy's right sleeve, the left edge of the clip, as more of the coat is revealed in the frame. Likewise, you may need to refine the segmentation boundary around the flaps of the cap and the edges of the hood. Using the Roto Brush tool, paint foreground and background strokes to define the matte for this frame. If the matte is accurate, you don't need to paint any strokes. If you make a stroke you don't like, you can always undo the stroke and try again. As you move through the span, each change you make affects the frames after it. The more you refine your selection, the better the overall results may be. You may find it useful to move forward a few frames to see how changes affect the boundary. Press the 2 key again to move forward to the next frame. Use the Roto Brush tool to add the foreground or subtract from the background as necessary to refine the boundary, and then repeat these steps until you reach the end of the layer. Pay special attention to the left ear flap of the cap when it crosses in front of the tree. The dark areas overlap, making it more difficult to get a consistent edge. Remember that you are trying to get the segmentation boundary as close to the edge of the foreground object as possible. When you have completed refining the segmentation boundary for the entire layer, choose File and Save to save your work so far.